Hi, this is Billie Beene here with another episode of U.S. News by Billie, episode 74. Today's date, September 23, 2023. Some of the things we'll be covering. Klaus Schwab. The people are rising up against the elites. A new information about the F35B. September-October event to include pole shift, gold and XRP. What's going on at the Texas border? And the CCP military actually coming into the U.S. And in October, that EBS and now WES is added to it. So some of my sources are God in the Bible, Patriot subscribers, Mike from around the world. I have JWTV, Fl Maquis, and other sources. So let's get started. I'll begin by drawing a map of the U.S. because we have things happening and people streaming into our nation. So we've got Florida, Texas, California. We're coming up here to the U.S., Canada, Alaska, the Aleutian Islands, Hawaii, Maui, Oahu, Texas, Florida, North Carolina, Yellowstone. We've got stuff going on. Okay. So I have this. I have a Patriot subscriber who says something is up. We know recently Congress was issued those satellite phones a few months ago, and now they're wearing shorts and casual shirts. And some people believe that Congress has gone to casual wear in the event that they have to get on their horse and ride out of town, so they won't be recognized. They'll just blend in as civilians. And recently I did that report about seeing the white trains along the Texas South Coast that Mike from around the world had talked about. When you start seeing the government white trains moving food all around the U.S., then you know something's up. And that's what's going on. Okay, I have a Patriot subscriber who says, on September 17, at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, I saw C-130s leaving almost every 5 minutes. And I looked up, a C-130 is a heavy-duty plane that can transport helicopters, tanks, but also troops. Each C-130 can carry 72 combat or 64 paratroopers. So we see the U.S. military is on the move. Now, just yesterday, we had a tropical storm come in, Ophelia, come into North Carolina, and it's going to proceed up the East Coast as a tropical storm. So it came on and was causing heavy rains, some surge from the ocean, and it came in Saturday at 2 a.m. into this area. Saturday today, it'll be onshore, and then it's going to move up to Virginia, D.C., and New Jersey by Monday. So that's going on. And now we have this. Oh, yeah. So JWTV is reporting we currently have a UN meeting going on in New York City. Hal Turner had also been reporting on this. And I'll link this JWTV segment for you showing Klaus Schwab. He's a European leader of really, we should call it the deep state, what it is. Who's talking about it? I had to laugh when I saw him. Yeah, we've got a problem because the people are rising up all over, and he actually used this term, we the elites. Okay, Klosh, I think you're going to be in for a really rude awakening, because people in the United States and all around the world, yeah, they're waking up and throwing off all those layers of slavery that the deep state had tried to enslave all people of the earth using various methods, controlling our bank accounts. And now they want to steal our money, put us into CBDC and social credit scoring. We'll tell you how you're our slaves. He actually used this term, we, the elites. Okay, Klosh, shut up. Now we've got this. Yeah. Okay, so Fl Maquis came out with this, a little more information about that missing F35B plane. So the F35B plane that went missing, that was like in South Carolina a few days ago. Bizarre. Saying that, yeah, CBS News had put this out, that they had identified the pilot, and as far as I'm concerned, the pilot still is a mystery. I think this was misinformation, but Florida did a good job of pointing out inconsistencies. First, it said he was 47 years old. It said he fell 2,000 feet, and it said he was in training. Now, when this happened, apparently from South Carolina, the plane was reported to have gone up 1,000 feet, and then the pilot ejected. So he couldn't have fallen 2,000 feet. And he said it was training, but my information is that that plane was armed. It was either armed with tactical nukes or with directed energy weapons. So it wouldn't be training. And Florida pointed this out. 47-year-olds don't pilot these kind of planes because they're high tech. They put their pilots in are really about 25 to maybe early 30s, who are at the top of their physical and mental abilities. So nothing adds up, and we see another disinformation. Now, someone put out a meme showing a milk carton. Like years ago, milk cartons would come out and show missing children, but this had a picture of the F-35B on it and said, "Have you seen me? I'm lost." So yeah, people are, taking this into stride, and they're not buying the propaganda that's being put out. So Klaus Schwab, elite, get a grip, because so many people in the United States, it's now about 80% of the people who are awake. We're not buying propaganda. You can't just put out lies on any media source and expect us to believe it. No. Okay, ETN News is bringing this out. We have more activities, hotspots, things going on, heat coming up from the fault lines. And that corresponds to that information I received from God in the fall of 2020. Pay attention. Magma is rising inside the earth. Pay attention along the edges, especially of the tectonic plates. Now, tectonic plates. Juan de Fuca plate right along the edge of the U.S., Oregon, Washington, has had a 3.0 right on the edge of the plate. And we had in Texas a 3.9 kind of northwest of Dallas. So that's going on. And we have other things going on. I'll draw you now a timeline. My sources for this are God in the Bible and Patriot subscribers. Also, Mike from around the world is regularly on Pastor Paul Begley's Thursday night program. We believe Mike works for the NSA. Kerry, Cassidy, Clif, Dick Alguire, Polny. Yeah. Okay, timeline. So here we go from, this will be about April of 24. We've got December. We're back here, September, October, November. And we know out here in August, we had Maui. Now, Clif WebBot data and also Dick Algire's remote viewing put this event that also was going to use directed energy weapons to take down the Denver airport and Cheyenne Mountain, where NORAD is located. And this to begin somewhere in this area, and most likely to occur, according to the WebBot data, by December, because it's going to be winter. So we got that going on. Now, I had put out on that missing F-35B and also a plane from Russia in my last video that I believe the deep state had used AI to hack into those planes, and they now have a U.S. plane and a Russian plane to, bomb each other's respective countries and really tap into that World War III that Klaus Schwab and all these entities so deeply covet. They want a World War III. So that's going on. We got that. Now, Dick Alguire, remote viewer, also came out with this, that his people had seen somewhere between September and October, early October, Congress coming out from a meeting and throwing up. So we don't know the reason for that. We do know that a few months ago they were given satellite phones in the event of a catastrophic damage. Now we the people, now in Russia, Russia is fully doing things for the good of its people in the event of a nuclear attack or a major space event happening, like underground bunkers and food and shelter, and weekly and monthly they have procedures for their people to get inside their bunkers. Of course, the deep state government in control of the U.S. government and the shadow U.S. military does nothing for the American people. Okay. So it's good that we have God on our side. So that's coming. Now, economically, Jim Willie, PhD economist from Costa Rica, had said we would see the U.S. dollar go up. Now, Polny, medical doctor turned economist who uses Bible cycles to predict what's going to happen with the economy, says in the first 2 weeks of November, we're going to see gold go up and XRP go up. So we see positive economic factors for November. We see some kind of event in September and October. Now, I'll go over some of the new, and Kerry Cassidy had this. She had a physicist intel about the Earth and the spin changing, Earth changes inside the Earth. I'll go over now what Mike from around the world is putting out, which I believe is new information that also would figure into major events coming. So I do see Mike is talking about a pole shift. And this is my area. I'm also familiar with this. And he's talking about, we do know from the past, you can get samples from deep inside the ocean, or tree rings will also give you some information. Ice cores from the Arctic and Antarctic. And, you know, they're in strata that relates to geologic ages. And it's been documented that the magnetism changes in different strata. So that indicates that in the past, the poles have shifted. Now, the time frames for these vary, and most of them, some of them now seem to be a few thousand years ago. So we would have to say the impact on human life is not an extinction level event. So now Ben Davidson with Suspicious Observers had anticipated the North Pole would move from like Canada over to Siberia. And it is moving very fast right now. And then I had that information from Zeta Talk. When I was taking my geology courses 30 years ago, the Earth was tilted at about 23.5 degrees. Zeta brought this out. It's now being documented at 31 degrees tilt. That correlates to this major space event. Here's the Earth. We do know, here's the Sun, other planets. Now, Stephen Benoon with the Israeli News Live had brought this out also, that in September of 2022, an object entered our solar system, and by December of 2022, it would begin to impact the Earth. We are having impacts upon the Earth. I submit we're having more of a tilt. Now, Mike is talking about the core of the Earth, the spin, the pole shift taking place that would impact GPS, also time. He's talking about analog time, the old-fashioned watches, and now we have computer time. So as these changes take place, it's also shifting GPS satellites and other things. So this is going on. We are having earth changes. We are in the process of a pole shift and so on. That would impact. Now, Mike is also talking about asteroid and also debris beginning to come in sharply, and that would also correlate with our timeline into December, into April, with more debris hitting the Earth, possibly causing what he says is 3 days of darkness, an impact on our power grid. So we need to be in prayer and do a little prepping. I think it would be good to have a go bag into which you put important papers, marriage license or divorce papers, or your home deed, or your insurance papers, your shot records, your medical records, prescriptions for yourself, for your children, for your pets, and so on. Something you would grab that you would want that paperwork with you. So I think that would be good. So we've got all these things going on for sure. Okay. And now we'll talk about talk about what's going on in Texas. All right. So we have Texas, and we had Ken Paxton was the Texas AG, and the deep state tried to take him into court. He's been acquitted. As soon as that happened, Governor Greg Abbott came out with a new amendment for Texas to do more defense of the U.S. border and in Texas. Now, Mike from around the world says that we have 29,000 per month military soldiers coming in. They could be CCP or they could be from other nations, but per month coming in. And that for the CCP, the NSA, part of the U.S. government, is already documented inside our gates are 211,000 actual CCP military soldiers. They're picked up, according to Monkey Works, by the shadow U.S. military and flown all around the U.S. So I guess the deep state thinks that they can use CCP soldiers against we the people, but we know from one coast to another, at least 100 million, and I understand it's dramatically increasing weekly, are 100 million plus American citizen patriots who I believe could certainly take down the CCP and other groups. Yeah. Because, yeah. All right. So we got that going on now. So Greg Abbott came out with this Declar Amendment. He had earlier said, you know, the state of Texas is going to take action against these migrants coming into the Texas. So he amended that on September 22nd to include many counties all the way up here. And I was surprised it also includes Galveston, Texas. Mostly our counties along the border, saying this is a declaration of disaster for these counties, including Galveston, and that they have documented, that was on about Wednesday, in Eagle Pass, Texas, that has a population of 28,000. They had on Tuesday, they had 2,900 come in. On Wednesday, 4,000. So the mayor of Eagle Pass is saying, what do you think? We're a small, poor town. What are we supposed to do with these thousands of people who have come in? Governor Abbott, get something going. Let's get it going. And now we understand, you know, the JB group wants open borders, but now Mexico, who recently joined the BRICS, they're building a wall because all these people streaming over, they don't want back. Now, how's that for you? All right. Now we had CNN on September 22nd, yesterday, talking about at the Texas border that the U.S. military, the combat groups, are sending 900 to augment the National Guard that's already there with 2,500 troops. And that, yeah, Del Rio, Eagle Pass, Tucson, they're swarming. And in the past 24 hours, September 21 to 22, almost 9,000 migrants have come into the U.S. So at least some kind of recognition is going on about this. Yep. And now we have this. Yeah. Now we'll move on to, all right. So now I demonstrated, so we have a problem with the U.S.-Texas border plus all these migrants coming in. We see Congress with sat phones. We see them dressing in shorts, apparently getting ready for a quick run in case something comes up. And now we have this, EBS and WES testing to be done in October. Now, this is going to be by FEMA. So let's get this cleared away. And so what I want to demonstrate is we have four. We have 4 time zones. And if you want to check what time zone you're in, then put in time zone for in your city and state. Like Texas has like 2 time zones in it. So on October 4, and the time is about 2 p.m. So I've heard 2:15, I've heard 2:20, I've heard 2:22 p.m. There's supposed to be a testing of our emergency broadcast system, and now I understand also wireless emergency system is also going to be tested. So that means that FEMA on this date and time is going to put forth that squawky sound to test the emergency broadcast system. This will be for cell phones, for radio, for TV, and also this is for our computers, internet, plus smartphones, tablets. Okay. So that's the time for it. And I had questions. See, here's another one. If there are problems with the October 4 date, then the second try will be on October 11. And then the time zones are, we have Eastern Standard Time, and this is the time zone that's going to be set for the timing of the emergency broadcast. And then we have Mountain, we've got Eastern Standard, we've got Pacific Time, we've got Mountain, yeah, right here, Mountain, and a time zone here, Central. Okay. So if it was 2 p.m. here, it would be 1 hour earlier, 1 p.m. Mountain Time, 2 hours, 12 noon. Pacific Time would be 3 hours earlier, 11 a.m. So that gives you a system in which to work to set up or make note of time. So now some sources are also saying it could go from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. for 2 hours. I don't see that because they have to have control of all systems. That's internet, phones, radio, TV. I think it'll be for a short period of time, maybe 5 or 10 minutes, but the times are varying and we see across the U.S., we would have different time zones. Okay, but it is a good time to prep and pray. So a short prayer, I'll use General Patton's weather prayer from World War II. Father, grant us fair weather for battle. Guide us from victory to victory and crush our enemies. And we thank you, God the Father, God the Son, Jesus, whom many call Yeshua, and God the Holy Spirit. I say to my family and friends, remain steady out there. Continue to pray. It is good to remember that God is in charge and He is on the move. I love you, and I'll see you soon.